Peel and Harry Emerson fathers, taking all that bunch and build them up and talking about like they're great men of God and great faith and great spirituality. They're a bunch of sorry, unsaved reprobates, a bunch of wolves in sheep's clothing. And they do the same thing. They'll take a fellow like Oral Roberts or Captain Coleman, or Rex Humbard or Jimmy Swaggart, who can't hit a lick at a snake. Those fellows couldn't preach long enough to keep your eyes open. And put those fellows on television, give them a worldwide audience, a nationwide audience, and that gives everybody the impression that's what a preacher ought to be. The reprobates are killing your testimony. They're killing your testimony. I read an article about the life of Jerry Falwell today, talking about how he was a good fellow and said what people wanted to hear and didn't bother him, a lot of hellfire and damnation and stuff. Falwell's a pretty straight talker for a preacher on the radio, and I appreciate what he's saying. But I must admit, I haven't heard him preach a good hot sermon in hell yet. Of course, I've only heard him about 35 times. You think after a fellow preached 35 times, he'd preach at least 5 good messages on hell. But you see, those kind of preachers are going to be the biggest handicap you have in the ministry, because when you get out in the ministry, folks are going to expect you to be like them. You see? I mean, you're going to be expected to walk in there, and... Well, we're so glad to have you here with us today, and we just trust God that you will get a great blessing, And people get watching that stuff, and then you get up there, and then you're a dirty so-and-so, you see. Now, Jesus Christ was a preacher. You know why they crucified him? Because of his preaching. See? He got out there and thus saith the Lord, blam, 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 blam. They didn't like it, man. That's what was wrong. He didn't raise up any army, any sedition. He preached, and they couldn't stand his preaching. Now, in this country here in the old days, when I say the old days, even 70 years ago or 80